So I'll make this video response to Thunderfoot and atheism in general. Yeah. Come on, people. Seriously. Like, I made a video about Thunderfoot got taken down because they said I violated the YouTube's terms and policies, which is absolute bullshit. That didn't happen. I read over the terms and policies. Yeah, the video didn't violate anything like that. But yeah. Anyways. And I think I could start off why I've been such a voice critic about Thunderfoot. And it's generally because of the fact that I think he's perpetuating something that is not positive for our overall progression, as a species. And that's atheism, to which really doesn't have a real level of critical thought, or really isn't about coming to this personal understanding of this personal conclusion. It's more about coming to a point and position to which you can say that, you can announce, like, I'm an atheist, so on and so forth. I'm not saying that declaring yourself as an atheist or stating that you're an atheist is generally a bad thing, but it came to the point of a reason to feel superior. It's a reason that, we should have this perspective, like atheism should be the perspective, the general perspective of, humanity, or what we should have. And I disagree with that premise and that notion to a high level, because if atheism, and that's just because of the way that atheism has been taking and forming, and atheism has been taking and forming just a complete, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a movement of disassociation with the authority system that has really no principles besides attacking their religious counterparts, and it's just not good what I see coming about. Because if atheists really want to take on institutions like religion, so on and so forth, or Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, they want to take on any of these, the best position that they could do for themselves, for the argument, and for the progression of humanity would be to take the higher moral ground. And I don't see that with atheists at all. And I used to say a long time ago, like, if you really think there is no God, then at some point you need to come to the understanding that you should really be considering figuring out ways to help people, to be an immediate help for people. Because if you really believe that there is no God, and all these Christians, all these religious people believe that God's going to help somebody, so on and so forth, and God doesn't help anybody, but you believe there's no God, so you should be obviously come to the realization that you need to help people now because God isn't going to do it. But I don't hear that argument. I don't hear atheists with that point of view or that perspective. It's generally just talking shit about religion without, without trying to teach somebody something like, there is no God, so we really should be more considerate about each other. We really should be more helpful towards each other. We really should just be a benefit to each other in each other's lives. And I don't hear that at all coming from atheists. It's just generally like, oh, you believe in a sky daddy? Oh, do you believe in the magical, visible spaghetti monster? What the fuck is the point of this? Like, and the form that atheism is taking at this point in time is like, if atheism became, if everybody was going to be atheist, because that's generally, the tone that you guys are trying to bring up or talk about. That's generally the tone of the movement, is that eventually, society is just, behind so on and so forth. Atheism is eventually going to be their progression. But if that's true, the progression you would see with the movement, like, you see the atheist movement, so on and so forth, or the reason movement, which is retarded, you would see more people talking about stuff like that. You have speakers talking about, like, yeah, there's starving kids in Africa. We can do something about this if we come together, so on and so forth. We can actually change and affect our society in better ways. And we can do it because of the fact that we realize that, we all have the power to help each other. And we all have the power to be something. We all have a voice. And we should use that voice on telling and helping each other. But instead, the majority of atheists, at least the ones that speak about it largely, is against the religious institution. And I mean, the religious institution is an authority system. And I've said this many, many times. And authority systems allow people to be ignorant and arrogant about their own perspective. You see this with the police officers and shit, and judges. Like, a government's an authority system too. It allows people to be ignorant and arrogant because of the fact that they're backed by an authority. And religion does the exact same thing. And even worse than that, atheism is now turned into an authority system. And I hear so many atheists come up with these dumb-ass freaking arguments. You guys don't have the better arguments. You guys are just in a position of a non-position, and that allows you a great place to debate from. Like, I don't have to really take a stance on anything because I don't believe in anything. I just, like, at least when you're arguing about God, you don't take a stance on anything. And that's what I used to debate from, like a position of nothing. That was what made me a good debater against atheists, is because of the fact I never took a fucking position. It's a little hard on here. Yeah, you guys really, I mean, the perspectives on God, I mean, you guys come up with so many dumb points. And that's the other thing. Atheism has now just became generally more accepted. And instead of people actually coming to it through a level of thought process and conclusionary questioning of their own perspective and their own understanding, and then eventually come to atheism through that. I'm not even saying atheism is that positive, but atheists that do that went through that level of thought process and level of critique. Those people, I guess you could be like, those atheists know what they're talking about. That's a kind of belief that they came to through struggle and hardship. And like religion, I think a lot of atheists now are coming to atheism because it's popular. At least here on YouTube. I mean, how many people that, watch Thunderfoot or freaking Amazing Atheist? How many people come to atheism after watching so many videos and hear them scrutinize religion? It's not something they come to personally, but it's something they come to because it's popular. It sounds like a good idea. And that's the thing about it, that you really wonder, is that the quality? Because if that's just the level that you just have to say, there is no God, then atheism is just another authority system, another banner that people can go under, just to feel superior to other people. And that's the other thing. Like, people gain a certain level of feelings of superiority because of certain belief systems. This generally part of humanity, or the animal part of humanity. Hopefully one day we can, socially and intellectually evolve to the point to which that's not necessary, but I don't see that at all with Thunderfoot or a lot of other people. And I respect the Amazing Atheist a lot more, TJ, a lot more than I do Thunderfoot, because he doesn't act like religion, like he talks about religion, but he's not like, religion is the scourge of the universe. It's not that with him. And with Thunderfoot, and a lot of people that follow him, it seems a lot like that. And it's sad because you're not progressing intelligence. You're progressing your own fucking agenda. And I mean, and I've seen and heard so many arguments about atheism, like, atheism is a logical conclusion. We're all born atheists, which is just stupid as fuck when you think about it. Like, yeah, we're all born atheists. You realize that if you have no understanding of anything, so on and so forth, then you can't be anti that. Like, it's... If I've never heard of cheese, why would I have a disposition not to believe in it? Okay, it's just that fucking simple. If you never hear of God, then you can't not believe in him. It's just like, fuck. And the other thing is that, atheists constantly try to put religion and the belief in God with intellect and intelligence. It's not the same fucking thing. I mean, a belief in God, a belief in the spiritual nature of things, so on and so forth, pretty much saying that there's a limit to our own sentience. And atheism is pretty much saying that no, everything is just our sentience. And religion and a belief in God is not that. It's not like our sentience is a be-all, end-all interpretation and is the only way that we can really interpret the universe. That's not what religion and a lot of belief in God is about. It's about saying that there are limits to my own understanding and that I accept that, and more than that, and more than that, I believe in something spiritual, higher than me, and stronger than me, and better than me, a more interconnected, intertwined with the universe. Interconnected with the universe, yeah. That's what a lot of religion is about. Atheism is pretty much that, my sentience, every human is sentient to a certain point and a certain perspective. And I've came to atheism, which means that I'm more accepted, more understood within my sentience. And that means because I came to the conclusion that sentience is the greatest aspect of understanding that we can come to about understanding our universe. That makes me on a superior level to the other people within this world because of the fact that I am more aware of my sentience than a lot of the religious people. And That's what atheists believe, and it's simple. And that's why, you know, they think about intelligence, so on and so forth, and science, and like, oh, I believe in science. Like, religious people don't believe in science. Oh, you know, all the, you know, if you're a Christian, you got to be Republican. You know, like, you know, creationists are the freaking majority of Christians. If that was true, why isn't creationism taught in our freaking schools? If you're talking about the majority of people in America are Christians, why is those people not pushing, you know, creationism in the schools, and why isn't it passed? Because if 80% of people believe in creationism, or if 80% of Christians believe in creationism, generally, and they thought that that was the absolute truth and evolution was blasphemy, it would be taught in our schools. Hands fucking down. But yeah, it's not. Because a lot of Christians don't believe that. And a lot of Christians aren't, you know, don't hate homosexuals or anti this or anti that. It's there's a lot of bad stigmas coming up. I guess is my general point, that it's just, and atheism is not helping any of this. It's just creating a different level of fucking ignorance. And people like Thunderfoot who perpetuate this fucking understanding of atheism just being the superior level of freaking understanding are perpetuating a level of fucking ignorance. And the worst part about it, they claim to have reason and they claim to be logical and rational. Why they perpetuate fucking ignorance like fucking assholes? I mean, seriously. That's not rational. To think that you can, just because of the fact that you came to atheism, that is perfectly fine for atheists to be whatever the fuck they want to do damage to humanity. Is that rational? Just because a person's an atheist, it's okay for them to do damage to humanity? Or is it because of the fact that they do less damage than the religious people within this world? So, you know, atheism, you know, atheists are allowed to do a certain amount of damage because they do less damage than religious people. Seriously? What the fuck? Hypocrite any? But I don't know. I mean, shit. I know for a fact that the only way that we can progress as an overall society, as an overall species, is when we start accepting people and their differences, or just respecting people enough to understand that they have differences. And that the only way that we can progress is to say that our differences don't mean as much as what makes us similar. Like, I don't know how to put this. Our differences don't mean as much as the similarities that we have as a fucking species. Or even more than a fucking species, the similarities that we all fucking suffer. That shit should be more than our differences. But with the fucking atheists, it makes no fucking sense. I don't see that. I'm not saying that I see that largely with religious people, but religious people are just, you know, under this system of authority. Atheists aren't supposed to be under that. But it seems to me like atheism is now growing into its position in the system of authority, which would be the just dumbest thing ever, because atheists would claim to be rational, free thinkers and be under the influence of an authority system that is not even named or defined because atheism doesn't have a book. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like Christianity, you can understand the reason why people think and accept certain things that are accepted by the authority system because you have a reference. What is atheism reference to building an authority system? There is none. And if you guys can't understand how that could be dangerous or could have a huge level of detriment to our society, then fuck, you're not rational. You don't think, you're not critical thinkers. Because if I could do that, I mean, shit. Seriously, if I could do that, you should be able to do it. But then again, I don't largely connect myself with mass thought. And I'm not a person that believes in, you know, acceptability through multiplicity. It's just not something that is in my core. And now I'm going to address some fucking douchebag that commented on me. I was drunk and I started commenting on one of Thunderfoot's videos because when I get bored, I'm just like, fuck it. You know, what am I going to do? I'm going to argue with atheists. And it does kind of, I do get a little bit of a sense of joy out of it. I want to say joy. It's just fun. Because I mean, at least atheists on YouTube, it's just fun for me. What was I going to say? This dude, oh my god, this prick decided to say that, you know, oh, he said I was autistic. I just got to address it. I'm not autistic. I'm actually pretty smart. I just have a abstract perspective and thought process. That's generally where this came from. And it came from my mother being a super hippie, my dad, and certain things and certain events in my life that changed me and shaped me and molded me and caused me just to become a different person than, you know, the large majority of, you know, the normal people in the world. And I'm cool with that. Because I can understand people a lot better because I'm not normal at all. I'm generally, yeah, I'm very thoughtful though. But if you saw me in person, you'd either think two things: he's a fucking gangster, or what's going on with that dude. Generally, how I look. When I look gangster, I look like, I just cut it down to the basic minimal items and understandings, which is just don't talk. And I don't really socialize on a higher intellectual level with a lot of people that I know. So I do that on YouTube. I'm a little bit different. Why am I addressing it? My thought process is grown from a complete abstract position. My sentience, my understanding has been created largely by certain things that I've molded it to. Not all positive things, not all good things. I definitely have, negative characteristics and aspects. Anybody who's seen like 3 or 4 of my videos can understand that. But anybody that can critically think can also tell that I do have a certain level I have the level of understanding that most people don't, and it's actually kind of beneficial because I can look at stuff in a different way that most people don't look at things, and that allows me to be able to step back. Like if the grass is all green and they're on the other side, I was born and raised on the sidewalk. I don't see shit like, it's like this or it's like that. I see it like, no, grass is pretty much the same. I mean, there's more of it over there, and that one's a little bit greener or brownish, but it's pretty much the same thing, and I can see it. I can, take myself and put myself in my own position. And yeah, I want to address that. I'm not autistic. I have to get a little bit bitter though at atheists, or bitter over atheism, and the fact that they're so fucking arrogant over their understanding their ideas. I'm not saying religious people aren't. I mean, on my old channel, I had so many fucking videos talking shit about religion, stupidity, and arrogance that comes from it. But yeah, pretty much it. I just don't like Thunderfoot. I'm just not a fan of Thunderfoot. I'm just not a fan of fucking stupidity and ignorance that is just perpetuated for the sake of namesake. And that goes for Christians, Muslims, everybody. Ignorance gets perpetuated because of namesake is the just dumbest type of fucking ignorance. And that's really what I see with a lot of atheists out there. Like, Einstein was an atheist. Like, fuck, you people, you're supposed to be about intelligence if you're about atheism. If you equate these two things and you have stupid fuckers on your channel saying stupid ass fucking shit, I mean, obviously, atheism does not equal intelligence. It's just one answer, one fucking question. Get over it. Or if you don't want to get over it, or get over saying and declared atheism, find a way to be morally superior to your religious counterparts so you actually have something to work towards. If you don't do that, you're just perpetuating this idea to satisfy your own need for a feeling of superiority, and that's just fucking negative for our general society. It's just not a good fucking thing. If you guys can't understand this, then fucking Christ, you're not critical thinkers whatsoever. Yeah. Yeah, I think pretty much done with the video now. Freaking atheism. But again, you guys don't have the better arguments because you guys just argue from a different position. And we said God exists in a deeper level with our sentience and understanding, then atheism is not a good enough answer to answer or be a critique to this understanding or that understanding. That God is still God. If our sentience can't answer the question of God, then atheism is a sufficient answer to come. Then atheism is a sufficient answer of a critique to God. There we go. If our sentience cannot answer the question of God, then atheism is not a good enough answer or critique to God. Yeah. If you understand what I'm saying, if you don't, I'm not too surprised. I think it talk from a complete different position. I talk from an abstract position. My grammar is 100% good, and I generally do largely miss over a lot of grammatical mistakes. But I don't give a fuck about grammar. My arguments generally stand. If you can understand what the fuck I'm saying, they generally stand. So I don't really have to worry about grammar unless you're that just fucking, douchebag on YouTube. Like, oh, you said there, THE. No, or your, the your, that shit. Oh, I just love that. And you spelled your Y-O-U-R when it's Y-O-U-R-E. Yeah, I think that's right. All right. Have a good day, atheists. And I mean, seriously, is it really that important to you? to be declared atheist or to attack religion. You know, it should be more important to atheists helping people. I think that's the most important thing that anybody should be about, fucking helping people. But it's all like, fucking, I'm superior to you because of this reason. Christians believe, that's why Christians, a lot of Christians believe that, well, a lot of Christians do believe people are going to hell because they're not Christian. You know why? Because they want to feel superior to you. That's the only fucking reason. People are always like, you know, I'm taller than him, I'm better than him. And like, you know, I'm smarter than him, I'm better than him. Play video games better than him, I'm better than him. I have a better education, I'm better than him. I mean, do you people not see that? And to just equate atheism with that, like another reason for it, then claim that you're more intellectual or you're smarter or you're more of a critical thinker or you're more reasonable, you're just a fucking douchebag. You're as big as douchebags. You're as big of douchebags as, you know, your religious counterparts. So it's just what it is. And I'm not saying I'm not a douchebag. I'm a douchebag at times. A lot of time, actually. But still, I realize it, and I don't equate it to certain beliefs. Well, I do at times. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I believe in God, but I don't look at my belief in God as a reason why everybody else is fucking wrong. I look at like that's something personal about me, and I don't need to use my belief in God to freaking attack you. Like atheists use the belief in atheism to be able to go out and attack religious people. It is stupid. And vice versa with religious people attacking atheism. It's not progressing our society. And this has been a long fucking video. If anybody actually saw this from start to finish, thank you. I mean, hopefully that wasn't something that you consider 21 minutes wasted out of your life that you'll never get back. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you thought about certain subjects in a critical manner. And understand that, you know, we really should be trying to progress something for everybody. You know, be a benefit to everybody. Pretty much my message. So yeah, peace, love and respect. And yeah, I was gonna actually address some other shit, but fuck it. Another video, another time. Deuces.